Good evening to one and all. I once again welcome you all in this beautiful evening. And this is our first event for PG students and PhD scholars. None other than Dr. Syed Tanveer Hussain from Punjab, who is known as cancer specialist and Sachin Tendulkar of homeopathy. He is a man who possesses 3 postgraduate degrees in homeopathy. So, and he has worked hard in establishing himself in the field with his qualities and with his teachings. He has already come up with a book on 50 millisiemens potencies. So today's topic is related to utility of 6th edition of Organon and for special focus on of LM potency. And this event has been organized by Central Executive Committee of IAHP, and we all know that IAHP is the only body which represents institutionally qualified homeopaths and is most accepted body, the largest body of homeopaths in India. And this was conceived by our seniors, Dr. V.K. Gupta sir, Dr. M.A. Rao sir, and whole of the CEC committee that we started this event during this lockdown. So today's event is the another milestone in that, because from today onward we have rescheduled our seminars in the way that in a month we'll be holding a seminar for the doctors and whole fraternity and one dedicated seminar webinar for PG students and PhD students. So today's event is specially focused for PhD and MD students of all over India. So we hope that most of the students of the different colleges and different institutes would join us and take the experiences of Dr. Tanveer Hussain. And there's another announcement for this webinar that those students who are attending, they can, I'll be typing a particular email ID of IAHP official at gmail.com. You can send your email ID at that email and we'll be sharing you the e-certificates of attending this webinar. So any questions you can ask, but avoid putting questions or chat during the webinar, and don't try to unmute yourself. Any query you can send on, type on the chat box. Will be vigilant and watching all that. So I once again on behalf of CEC committee invite today's speaker Dr. Tanveer Hussain to start with his presentation. Dr. Tanveer Hussain, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sir. Thank you very much, Dr. Mukhinder Singh ji. Good evening, respected chairman of this webinar, Dr. Prabhakar sir, Dr. V.K. Gupta sir, the honorary president of IHP, Dr. M.A. Rao sir, the president of IHP national body, and all CEC members, all presidents of the state secretaries and audience. Good evening and warm welcome to all of you. Thank you very much, Dr. Mukhinder, for this beautiful introduction. So now we will go to the.
I sorry, Tanveer, I'm taking. I forgot to introduce Dr. Prabhakar Devgida sir from Mumbai. Yes. He'll be chairing today's session. So, sir, welcome you. I'm sorry, I take pardon for forgetting and not introducing you. So, after Dr. Tanveer finishing, he'll be summing up all the and he'll be chairing the today's session. Welcome, sir. Yeah, Dr. Tanveer, please.
Okay, sir. Shall I start, sir? Dr. Prabhakar,
yes,
sir?
Yes.
Please. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So now to the friends, if possible, then I would request the students and all my colleagues, honorable colleagues, if you can keep 5th and 6th edition of Organon along with chronic diseases, then would be better understanding all this today's topic of utility of 6th edition of Organon, focus on LM potency, because it is the last advice of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. This is my center in Punjab, Dr. Tanveer's Homeopathic Care Center. This is the tribute to Dr. Samuel Hahnemann in Paris when we were there in our Liga's program. Now, what is Organon? The word Organon is derived from the Greek word organum, which means an instrument for acquiring knowledge, a body of principles of scientific or philosophical investigations. So Organon is not merely a theoretical book, rather it's a manual to understand homeopathy. It is a unquestionable and fundamental authority. Anything regarding homeopathy is Organon of medicine. So it is an instrument for acquiring knowledge. Regarding this, Dr. Ramanal Patel sir says, it is the practical manual on how to use homeopathy, because without a proper understanding of organ of medicine, we cannot know how to use homeopathy. And Dr. L.M. Khan says about organ of medicine, it is our guiding principle that serves as the beacon light, illuminating our path that would lead us to the highest goal of human individual, to restore the sick to health. So whoever desires to obtain insight into the principles of homeopathy,
Dr. Tanveer, there's an input that audio is breaking and not clear. Please check at your end whether your
am I audible to you?
can you use? No, their voice is actually breaking. So can you use earphones or headphones?
I need to take it from. It will take some time because I think I am speaking from very close distance. It's not far from here. Let me open this door. Maybe there is Wi-Fi. Maybe it can.
Your voice is very clear, Dr. Tanveer. I think
maybe there is a breaking of maybe some bandwidth problem.
The receiver must be having. This is very clear, sir. What
is it clear now?
Very clearly heard.
Fine. No,
is it clear, sir? Now,
absolutely clear.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, whoever desires to obtain insight into the principles of homeopathy, whether doctor or layman, must not merely read the organon superficially, he must study it. Now, before going to the LM's potencies, I want to draw your attention of all of the audience about aphorism number 3 of 6th edition of Organon, because this aphorism is a roadmap of whole organon of medicine. This is the basic aphorism, which is a foundation stone kind of, because here Dr. Honeyman has given some guidelines how to practice homeopathy. He says in the third aphorism, if the physician clearly perceives, he states clearly perceives what is to be cured in diseases, that is to say in every individual case of disease, that is knowledge of disease. The indications we need to know. Whenever we take a case, we need to know the indications in the patient so that we can clearly perceive what is to be cured in the disease. He says if he clearly perceives what is curative in medicines, that is to say in each individual medicine, he is talking of knowledge of medicinal powers. We need to understand the proving areas of our the source books like Materia Medica Pura and chronic diseases. If he knows the suitability of the medicine most appropriate according to its mode of action to the case for him. So he talks about choice of the remedy, the medicine indicated here. So again, further he says, as also in respect to the exact mode of preparation, because now we will go to the posology part. That's why I have taken this aphorism, and the quantity of dose and the proper period for repeating the dose. And he says if finally he knows the obstacles to recovery in each case and is aware how to remove them so the restoration may be permanent, then he understands how to treat judiciously and rationally, and he is a true practitioner of the healing art. Now we can understand these things from the following aphorisms. Regarding the indications, if we want to understand the indications of symptoms of the language of the patient's disease, then we have to take the case. Regarding that, we can get the detailed information regarding case taking from aphorism number 83 to 104, where from we need to get PQRS. This is aphorism 153. We need to get all these PQRS from the patients, because those symptoms which are PQRS, peculiar, queer, rare and strange symptoms, we have to note down from the patient. This is something very, very important. Regarding this case, Dr. Honeyman says that we should note down the patient in the very language of the patient. We should not, we should write down the language patient as he says, because you are not supposed to interfere or interpret in your own way. Why I have taken this 84 aphorism, that we should not make the assumptions. We should take the symptoms as patient says to us. Otherwise, if we interpret in our own way, if we take the metaphorical meaning of our simple symptoms, then we can land up with the wrong medication. So he says, he warns us rather that we should note down the symptoms. So to note down this, we have to get the clear-cut image of the patient in terms of indications, in terms of PQRS from the patient. Regarding the knowledge of medicines, aphorism 105 to 145, we can see regarding the preparation of medicines 264 to 271. We will touch this area because we will deal with LM potencies today. We will go to that part also. And this is very important, the proper dose. Regarding the proper dose of the medicines, Dr. Honeyman says from aphorism 275, 6, 7, 8, 9, 280, 81, 2 and 83. And the routes of administration, he talks of 284 and 285. And repetition of dose, he says in 246, 247, 240. Very, very important changes which Dr. Honeyman has made, because he has made plenty of changes from 5th edition to 6th edition. We will go to that story later on, how it has evolved, Dr. Honeyman, what was the need to evolve this 6th edition of medicine, organ of medicine. So after that, there is an obstacle to recovery of cure. We can go for the instructions are given in aphorism number 4. So now if we want to understand the evolution of potencies, we need to go to the history of this. Longer we see in the past, further we see in the future. Now I will go very superficially over this area because which is the topic of today. We know that in 1779, Dr. Honeyman did his MD, and in 1781, he was appointed a doctor at Gomeren, which is a small town near Koithin. After that, in 1796, he discovered homeopathy because he left his practice in 1781 only because of the large doses he was using for his patients' complaints. And he found that patient was, when he used to come to the doctor, to Dr. Honeyman, he was not that sick, because after taking allopathic medications, because of the undue aggravations of patients' complaints, he was at more sufferer. So he left this allopathic system and later on started his translation. We know that. And in 1796, he discovered homeopathy. In 1798, after discovery of homeopathy, Dr. Honeyman was working on the law of similia only. Regarding the dosage, he was using the large doses because he was taught in his University of Erlangen. He was using the large doses of the medicines, but those medicines he was applying on the law of similia, but he was getting aggravation. Then he started thinking why his medicines are giving some aggravations. Then he found that it is because of the largeness of the dose. So he gave first hint of about dilution in 1798, and in 1801 he gave first detailed description about dilution and succussion in his article Cure and Prevention of Scarlet Fever, where he has used belladonna in very small doses. And in 1810 he wrote his first organon of medicine. In that, the following aphorisms are dealing with the doses and posology: 237, 244, 245, 247, 248, 250 and 252. These are the aphorisms he is talking of 1810 in his first edition of organon regarding posology. In 1816, friends, he gave some hint about drop of tincture, because earlier he was using the quantity in ounces, in mLs. Now he thought to reduce the dosage further, and he says that we should use the drop of tincture to minimize the aggravation of patient's complaint. But he was not able to avoid the aggravations. Then he further minimized his dosages. In 1821, we can see him using globules first time in the history of homeopathy, where he was able to wet 100 globules with 1 drop of tincture, with 1 drop of medicine. So now we can see that he has started earlier with the large dosages, then in a tincture form, then in a drop form. Now he is wetting 100 globules with 1 drop of the medicinal substance. Means 1 drop was equal to 100 dosages. So he was slowly minimizing these aggravations by his experiments. It looks very easy that he has made all these changes very quickly. No, it was very slow transformation of his wisdom, which wherewith he has started with the large dosages, and slowly with the repeated experimentation, with all that, he came to this conclusion that now 1 drop will be given to 100 patients in 100 doses. In 1829, friends, he wrote his 4th edition of Organon, which is very important to understand this thinking process of posology of Dr. Hahnemann. So in 4th edition of Organon, there are 2 important aphorisms, 242 and 245, which are relating to posology. Because to understand this LM potency, we need to study 4th edition of Organon, 5th edition of Organon, chronic diseases, the theoretical part, and 6th edition of Organon. Then only we can understand the evolution of potencies. So in 4th edition of Organon, Dr. Hahnemann says in aphorism number 242 that as long, therefore, as the progressive improvement continues from the medicine administered, so long we can take for granted that the duration of the action of the helpful medicine, in this case at least, continues, and hence all repetition of any dose of medicine is forbidden. In 245, he says, even 1 dose of the same medicine, which has up to now proved beneficial, if repeated before the improvement has begun to stand still in every direction, he says in every direction, will, like an untimely interference, only aggravate the state. He further says, in one word, we disturb the amelioration effected and still to be expected from the first dose if we give a second dose of the same originally well-chosen remedy before the expiry of the period of action of the first. At all events, we thereby delay the recovery. Friends, these 2 aphorisms are very important because many of our colleagues, even nowadays, they are following these 2 aphorisms in their clinical practice. This method is known as single dry dose method or wait and watch method. Whenever patient comes to us, we ask the patient to open his mouth. We give a dry dose on the tongue of the patient, and we give placebo to the patient and says that as long as this medicine is acting on the patient, as long as the patient is improving, we are not supposed to repeat the dose, because it is the instructions or guidelines which Dr. Hahnemann has laid down in his 4th edition of Organon in 1829. So many of us today also, they are using the same method, but this method was in late 20s. Hahnemann was not satisfied, friends. Hahnemann was not at all satisfied with this methodology. Why? Because this method was taking long time to treat a patient. Even nowadays, if we prescribe, for example, Lycopodium 200 to a patient, and we give placebo for 15 days or for 1 month, patient comes after 15 days and says, doctor, I feel better. So we prescribe him again placebo. Patient comes to us again after 1 month. We ask the patient, how about your complaint? He says, doctor, I feel better, but I feel that in the beginning of your treatment, I was feeling much better. That medicine which you have given me dry on my tongue, that was something very miraculous dose. Can you repeat that? Can you give me that current wali pudiya mujhe de sakte hai kya? So that kind of statement, when we listen from the patient, we scratch our head. Shall I give that dose or shall I restrict myself because patient is feeling now? Because as long as the action of the medicine is there, we should not repeat that dose. This is the instruction given by Dr. Hahnemann in his 4th edition. So in this way, that method was taking long time to treat a patient because we were unable to clearly demarcate the timeline when to prescribe the second dose or the second potency, because we were not clearly clear whether the recovery of the patient has stand still now. Now the second reason was, due to the large quantity of dose, there was homeopathic aggravation in the very beginning of the treatment only, when patient himself was in trouble. Friends, it is nowadays also those who are practicing on centesimal potencies, when they give any medicine, say for example Lycopodium 200, if it is little more higher potency than required, though the medicine is very perfectly homeopathic to the case, though there is homeopathicity is present in the medicine, but because of the largeness of the dose, patient gets homeopathic aggravation in the very beginning only. So Hahnemann was not satisfied with this, because on the other side, in the second aphorism, Dr. Hahnemann says the cure should be rapid and gentle. It should be rapid, it should be gentle also. But with this method, neither the cure was rapid nor was gentle. So Dr. Hahnemann was unable to justify his own written second aphorism of his organon. So he thought what to do now, because patient was taking long time, and at the same time they were getting homeopathic aggravations in the very beginning only. At the same time, Dr. Korsakov and few others started preparing higher potencies. Friends, I want to make a point over here, because Dr. Hahnemann, until this time, he has restricted his potencies up to 30 only. And he advised his disciples also not to go beyond 30 potency. But at the same time, General Korsakov of Russia and few others, they started preparing higher potencies like 60, 90, 200 and 1500. So Dr. Hahnemann gave one warning letter to these people that you should restrict the potency up to 30 only. So Colonel Korsakov and these people, they are the founder of higher potencies invention. And when Dr. Hahnemann was facing this aggravation from his medicines, from his centesimal potencies, he thought that because it is due to the largeness of the dose patient is taking at one time, so he thought to give the medicine by another route of administration, that is by olfaction. So Dr. Hahnemann has started his patient's treatment with method, and he has mentioned about this in the list of symptoms of antipsoric medicines by Bonnie Gershon. And in the preface of this book, he has written about this olfactory method, and is one of his disciples, Mr. Lehman, which was very close to Dr. Hahnemann, which has seen Dr. Hahnemann's practice very closely. He wrote that we have practiced almost 9 months only by olfactory method. Dr. Hahnemann has used this method for almost 9 months exclusively. All of his patients, they were receiving olfaction. Now, because Hahnemann was not even satisfied, I have given you the reasons, so he thought to review his editions of Organon. Then he came up with his edition of Organon. Friends, I want your close attention, because now we are entering towards the most important part of today's topic. What instructions Dr. Hahnemann has given in 5th edition of Organon, and why it was required to review all of his aphorisms. In 5th edition of Organon, in 245th aphorism, Dr. Hahnemann says, every perceptibly progressive and strikingly increasing amelioration in transient, that is acute, or persistent, that is chronic disease, is a condition which, as long as it lasts, completely precludes every repetition of the administration of any medicine. This is something which is almost similar to the 4th edition. But here he says, every perceptibly progressive and strikingly increasing amelioration. Here the point is, the amelioration should be progressive. It should be perceptible. It should be striking to eyes. It should be visible. That kind of amelioration, if we find in acute or chronic conditions, that means you are supposed not to repeat any medicine, because you are completely precludes every repetition of the administration of any medicine. because all the good the medicine taken continues to effect is now hastening towards its completion. Every new dose of any medicine whatsoever, even of the one last administered, that has hitherto shown itself to be salutary, would in this case disturb the work of immunization. So, in fourth edition of Organon, he says when there is definite relapse of the symptoms, then only you should repeat the dose. If he says that as long as this progressive, strikingly increasing amelioration is present, you are not supposed to repeat the dose. But this paragraph is totally omitted in sixth edition of Organon. Dr. Honeyman has totally removed this, and you just see the next aphorism of fifth edition of Organon. Dr. Am I clear and audible to all of you? Please. Dr. Prabhakar sir,
You are absolutely clear. We can hear you very clearly.
Okay,
And
thank you.
slides are also seen. Carry on, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, in the next aphorism, in 246th aphorism of fifth edition, he says again, on the other hand, the slowly progressive amelioration consequent on a very minute dose, whose selection has been accurately homeopathic, when it has met with no hindrance to the duration of its action, sometimes accomplishes all the good the remedy in question is capable from its nature of performing in a given case in periods of 40, 50, or 100 days. It must be a matter of great importance to the physician as well as to the patient that were it possible, this period should be diminished to one half, one quarter, and even still less, so that a much more rapid cure might be obtained. And this may be happily affected, as recent and oft repeated observations have shown under three conditions. Dr. Honeyman says you want to reduce this treatment time to one half, one quarter, or even still less. Yes, of course, you can do this under three conditions. If you do three conditions, then you can minimize this duration of treatment.
कि मेरे को सांस फूलता रहता है, क्या मैं कुछ करूं या ना करूं?
There is some noise, Dr. Pinder ji.
हाँ,
Hello.
कहती है कि तो मेरा 11.2 है, सारे
Hello.
टेस्ट नॉर्मल,
Everyone on mute.
लेकिन एक माइक्रो एनीमिया होता है.
Dr. Pinder Singh ji.
Oh, sir, Raman Thaman is there.
Hello.
Hello.
Just Dr. Ranveer, you please continue. I'm handling it.
Okay, please make all the people mute.
Yes, I've done that.
Okay, thank you. So Dr. Honeyman says you want to reduce this time to one half, one quarter, and even still less. I can give you the he says there are three conditions. First condition is if the medicine selected with the utmost care was perfectly homeopathic. Number one condition, your medicine should be perfect to the case. It should be perfect minimum. Number two, secondary, if it was given in the minutest dose as to produce the least possible excitation of the vital force and yet sufficient to effect the necessary change in it. And thirdly, if this minutest yet powerful dose of the best selected medicine be repeated at suitable interval. So friends, now Dr. Honeyman says something little different from his fourth edition of Organon. In the fourth edition, he says until or unless there is definite relapse of the symptoms, you are not supposed to change the medicine. You are not supposed to repeat the medicine. But in fifth edition, he says in those cases, I am going back, in those cases where there is slowly progressive amelioration. Now there are two kinds of cases. The result of the medicine. One is in first case, if the patient is getting progressive, striking, perceptible amelioration, in that case, you should not repeat the dose. That is very clear. But on the other hand, he says in those cases where the amelioration is progressive, but it is slowly one. It is slow progressive amelioration. In that case, I can give you the guideline that you can minimize the treatment time if you repeat it at suitable intervals. Friends, if you read the longest footnote of Organon of Medicine on 246 in 5th edition of Organon, you would find this, Dr. Honeyman has talked about this as a middle path, where he says that you can repeat the dose like sulfur after a week, after 10 days, or after 9 or 12 days, depending upon the hypersensitivity of the patient. And the medicines like Heparself, Carboveg, and other many, he has written that you can repeat it at suitable intervals if you are not satisfied with the speed of the recovery. In those cases where the improvement is not very striking, not very rapid one, so we can see little change in his thought process. Now in 5th edition, what changes he has made? In this edition, he has made the following changes. Number one, number of succussions which he was using 10 succussions to prepare his medicines on centesimal potencies. Now he says you should give only 2 succussions. If you read aphorism number 270, third line, you can find this, that now I advise you to give only 2 strokes, 2 succussions. And you can note 280 aphorism. Number one change he has made, because why he has reduced the number of succussions? Because he found that the more number of succussions make medicine more potentized, more dynamized, more powerful. Make the number of succussions less. Make the number of succussions less, then we can a little more milder one. Number one change. So we have to keep in mind that number of succussions makes the difference. Number two, he has advised us to give the medicine in solution form now. In 286 aphorism, Dr. Honeyman advises us to give every dose in solution form. Why? Because the dry dose is a weakest dose, Dr. Honeyman says in many places. Number third change, which he has mentioned in his Bonigason's repertory of antisoric medicine, he has given place to this olfaction method in his 5th edition of Organon in aphorism number 285 footnote and 288 footnote. So these are the major changes we can find regarding posology in 5th edition of Organon. Number one, number of succussions he has reduced from 10 to 2, solution form and in olfaction method. But still, Master was not satisfied with centesimal potencies. Why? What was the reasons? Now I am entering into the area where I would like to make it clear what was the need to write 6th edition of Organon, why it was required, why Dr. Honeyman felt the need to write 6th edition, which is the latest one. The number one reason was centesimal potencies were not acting rapidly. My friends, if we see many of the times, if we give one dose or 2-3 doses in the beginning of any potency, maybe 30, 200 or 1 few of the medicines are not working as rapid as to the satisfaction of the physician. If we read, even it was the problem with many people, including Dr. Honeyman. Even if you read sepia from Dr. Kent's Materia Medica, after prescribing this medicine to the patient, Dr. Kent was unable to see the change in the patient until 4th week. After 3rd week has completed, when 4th week started with that patient, then Dr. Kent found some changes in the patient's symptomatology. So centesimal potencies were not acting rapidly. It was the problem with Dr. Honeyman too. So he was not satisfied with this method. And they were producing violent aggravations, medicinal aggravations also. If the patient's medicine is not right one, if it is a wrong medicine, for example, then the medicinal aggravations were also very conspicuous in the patients. It was more seen in the hypersensitive kind of people. Those who are more hypersensitive people, the centesimal potencies were causing very damage to the symptoms to the patient. And in those cases where there are deep pathological changes, we can see, friends, if we read Kent's observation, the very first observation Dr. Kent writes is Killer's aggravation, where he says that if the medicine is very homeopathic to the case, but patient is having deep pathological changes and you are prescribing a deep antisoric medicine in little higher potencies, then you will get this Killer's aggravation because of the weaker vitality of the patient. This medicine is not getting the proper response because of the weaker vitality of the patient, and on the contrary, it causes severe aggravation and you can damage the patient, you can kill the patient also. So this aggravation, the first observation of Dr. Kent's observation, is very, very dangerous. So it was also the case with Dr. Honeyman. that those patients with deep pathological cases, centesimal potencies were not suitable to the case. The higher potencies were causing severe aggravation, and on the other hand, the lower potencies to touch the pathology. On the other day, Dr. Jaswant Patil, he was asking that in ICU, which potency we should go for, because in deep pathological cases, if we give any higher potencies of centesimal scale, then we met with this severe aggravation. So in those cases, if they go with the lower potencies, most of the times lower potencies are not capable enough to touch the pathology. So in that case, I am sure had Dr. Kent has read this 6th edition of Organon, he would have not written this first observation, because it is not seen in LM scale that easily. So this violent aggravation of patients' complaints, particularly in hypersensitive patients or in the patients with weaker vitality, it was seen. And the next reason was it was taking longer time to cure. As I have told you earlier also, that it takes longer time, longer duration of actions also. For example, the centesimal potencies, we give one dose, the action of this medicine goes for maybe 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. So there was most of the time not need to take that kind of longer action of this medicine. And the time of repetition was very difficult to know. So this is the problem with every second homeopath, the time of repetition of the medicine, because first prescription is comparatively little easier one than the second one. If we are dealing with centesimal potencies, then it is very, very difficult most of the times to exactly demarcate the timeline when to repeat the medicine, because of various factors. If patient feels better generally, and there is a standstill of the patient's improvement, then only we can think of repetition. So it was the problem. So Dr. Hahnemann started pondering over this, what to do, where are the possibilities to make the changes. So when Dr. Hahnemann reviewed his own all 5th edition of Organon, he found that there are 3 options with Dr. Hahnemann to make the changes in all this posology. The number 1 was the quantity of the medicine for the preparation of the new series of potencies. As we know that this aggravation of the symptoms of the patient's complaints is because of the largeness of the dose only. So Dr. Hahnemann thought we can minimize the quantity of the medicine so that we can minimize the aggravations, number 1. Number 2, the ratio of the diluent to the medicine. In centesimal potencies, he was making 1:99 ratio of preparation of the centesimal potencies, but he thought that is it possible that I can dilute it to the further, we can make it more dilute so that the medicine will be little more weaker one, not weaker, rather milder one, I should say. It would be more milder one. Number 3rd option was the number of suppressions to be given in each scale of potencies. So in this, all these 3 options, Dr. Hahnemann has started working very aggressively, very rapidly, so that he could come to the conclusion where all these things can be easily sorted out. So it was after 5th edition of Organon, which he has written in 1833. But in 1834, he made a, you know that Madam Melanie D. Harvey, she came to Dr. Hahnemann's house for her treatment, and in 1835, Dr. Hahnemann got married to Madam Melanie D. Harvey. Then they shifted to Paris, and when he went to Paris, this problem was more prominent with Dr. Hahnemann, because the pace of life in Coethin and in Paris, it was totally different. In Paris, people were not waiting for longer time for this. Nowadays also we see many people, they come to homeopathic doctors to be people that, Doctor, your medicine is very good. I know that there is no side effect of homeopathic medicines, but only there is one difficulty, one problem. Your medicines are working very slowly. Nowadays also many people, they come to us, your medicines are working very slowly. So this was the problem with Dr. Hahnemann when he has shifted to Paris, particularly. So he started experimenting with his posology, and in 1837, he wrote his preface to 3rd volume of Chronic Diseases. Friends, it is very important to know the major changes he has made when he was alive in 1837. I say that this is the gateway year of LM potencies. In 1837, in this 3rd volume of Chronic Diseases, if you people have with you, you can open up and you can read it from this book, in this preface to the third volume of Chronic Diseases, where Dr. Honeyman says the dry dose. There are certain changes, certain instructions and guidelines which I want your close attention to understand, because then we can easily enter into LM potencies. In this book, in this preface of chronic disease, Honeyman says this dry dose is the weakest dose. He was using this globule until 5th edition of Organon. He was using this globule as one dose, one globule as one dose to the patient. Now, split dose. Friends, what is this split dose? Now he used to take one globule of the indicated medicine of popular globule. He used to put in 7 to 20 tablespoonful of water. 7 to 20 tablespoonful of water, and he used to make this. And from there, he used to give 1 teaspoonful to the patient. You can see the repetition in acute conditions. He says 2 to 6 hourly. Acute diseases, acute conditions, he used 2 to 6 hourly. And in emergency cases, half hourly to 1 hourly. And in chronic diseases, he says we can use this medicine daily or on alternate day as per the need. This is the slide, friends, because many of our today's stalwarts, even some of our stalwarts, I have seen that they are not believing that 6th edition of Organon regarding the posology part. Dr. Honeyman, how come he can make this mad change in his posology? Earlier he's saying we give only one dose. Even many of our friends today, they proudly say, doctor, I am practicing with single medicine, single dose, no repetition at all. Friends, this single dose and single medicine is, of course, we have to give only single medicine. But this single, Dr. Honeyman says, only in those where there is perceptibly, increasingly striking amelioration. If you find in some cases, then it's okay. Even Dr. Honeyman also doesn't want to repeat you to repeat you the medicine. But in those cases where there are slow improvement, Dr. Honeyman says in the 5th edition only that you should please repeat the dose at suitable intervals. And in the long footnote of 246 aphorism, he gives the indications also what should be the interval of repetition. Accordingly, he says from 7th day, you can repeat it 7th day, 9th day. That's why I was wondering in some of the stalwarts, when we read the cases of the senior doctors, if patient is improving, they are repeating, for example, Naksumika 30 every week. So I was scratching my head, if patient is improving, why he is repeating the dose? But I was unaware, I have not read my this 246 aphorism footnote of 5th edition that time. When I read this, then I got the answer. Yes, it is because Dr. Honeyman has only given the instruction. By doing this, we can minimize the duration of treatment time of the patient. But further, he has gone beyond this. In his chronic disease, he says in chronic cases also, he doesn't say now that in slow cases you have to repeat this or that. He says in chronic cases, you can repeat it daily or on alternate days. But in this method, what he has made changes. Number now, he has made his one globule to put into 7 to 20 tablespoonful of the water. 1 tablespoonful is equal to 15 ml. So you can imagine how much water it should be. In 20 into 15 is 300 ml. So you have to put 1 globule into this much 7 to 20 tablespoonful of water. The variation is according to the susceptibility of the patient, according how much you want to give to the patient. So he has split 1 globule into so many dosages now, so that you have to give only 1 teaspoonful to the patient as 1 dose. So this is the precursor of LM potencies. Now up to this point, he was using centesimal potencies. He was experimenting this all methodology with centesimal potencies. But later on, he started using the same one when he prepared his 50 millisimal potencies in that form also. Now we will go further. First time he used his LM potency in March 9, 1838. If we can find this record in his registered number DF6, page number 145. Dr. Honeyman has prescribed sulfur 0/1 to a patient named Eugene. Though he was experimenting with both centesimal and LM potencies in his later years of life, but he arrived to the conclusion in 1842, which he mentioned in the 6th edition of Organon also. Now, we have understood that in 4th edition, he says, until or unless there is not definite relapse of the symptoms, we should not repeat the dose. This was according to single dry dose method, wait and watch method. It was in 1829 where he says in 4th edition of Organon. So many of our friends still now following that method, single dry dose method. Many of our friends, they are following. But Honeyman has discarded that, totally discarded that. And he wrote his 5th edition of Organon where he gave two methods. In one case, he says, where you find very striking, you should not repeat the dose. But in slow cases, in slow improvements, you should repeat the dose at suitable intervals. It was known as middle path in 5th edition of Organon. But in 6th edition of Organon, he has written a very different thing altogether, which was very striking to all of us. What he says, section 246 is rewritten in the 6th edition of Organon. Now he says, every perceptibly progressive and strikingly increasing amelioration during treatment is a condition which, as long as it lasts, completely precludes every repetition of the administration of any medicine, because all the good the medicine taken continues to effect is now hastening towards its completion. Friends, if you see this 246 aphorism of 6th edition, it is the combination of 245 and 246 aphorism of 5th edition, because 245th edition, 245th aphorism, Dr. Honeyman has removed from his latest edition, 6th edition. So this 246 aphorism is a combination of 245 and 246 of 5th edition. Now he says, every perceptible, progressive, and strikingly increasing amelioration during treatment is a condition which, as long as it lasts, completely precludes every repetition of the administration of any medicine whatsoever. So in LM potencies also, if we find this kind of amelioration, maybe from very first or second dose, maybe third or fourth dose, this is the instruction by Dr. Honeyman. Please stop giving further dosages. Otherwise, you will create the symptoms of the medicine. So he says it's supposed to repeat this, because all the good medicine taken continues to effect is now hastening towards its completion. This is not infrequently the case because in acute diseases, but in more chronic diseases, on the other hand, a single dose of an appropriately selected homeopathic remedy will at times complete even with but slowly progressive improvement and give the help which such a remedy in such a case can accomplish naturally within 40, 50, 60 or 100 days. Dr. Honeyman says, in chronic cases, patient is taking much more time, is however but rarely the case, and besides, it must be a matter of great importance to the physician, to the patient that. Now I want your attention to this upcoming slide. Dr. Honeyman says, it must be a matter of great importance to the physician as well as to the patient. Were it possible, this period should be diminished to 1 quarter, and even still less, so that a much more rapid cure might be obtained. Friends, what else we need now? What else we demand now? Because he has already given these instructions to us that if you want to repeat the method, it's very wonderful. It's a long time, lifetime, experimentation. Over 50 years, he kept on experimenting with the posology. The whole life of Dr. Honeyman, he has spent to minimize the patient's aggravations. So now he says, if you want to minimize this to 1/2, to 1 quarter, or even still less, so that a much more rapid cure might be obtained, and this may be very happily affected, as recent and oft repeated observations have taught me under the following conditions. Sir, I am so happy to read this aphorism that Dr. Honeyman has given something very valuable, very very important guideline to us. He says, first condition is if the medicine selected with the utmost care was perfectly homeopathic. First condition is your medicine should be minimum 1. Number 2, if it is highly potentized, dissolved in water and given in proper small dose, that experience has taught as the most suitable in definite intervals for the quickest accomplishment of the cure, but with the precaution that the degree of every dose deviates somewhat from the preceding and following, in order that the vital principle which is to be altered to a similar medicinal disease be not aroused to untoward reactions and revolt, as is always the case with unmodified and especially rapidly repeated doses. Dr. Honeyman says that yes, if you want to minimize your duration of treatment time, you can do that, but you have to follow my guidelines. Oh, homeopath, come to me. Dr. Honeyman says your medicine should be homeopathic. Number 1, it should be latest method means of LM potencies. We will come to that because now we have entered into 6th edition of Organon. Everything he has written here is regarding LM potencies. Dissolved in water, it should not be dry dose as we are doing in the clinics many times. It should not be dry. Dissolved in water and given in proper small dose. It should be in a proper small dose, should not be large dose. That experience has taught as the most suitable in definite intervals. Regarding this small dose, Dr. Hahnemann varies from Dr. Kent altogether. If you read Dr. Kent's philosophy, he says that as far as the quantity of the medicine is, it does not matter. It is the quality which matters to Dr. Kent. The quantity of the dose is not matter to Dr. Kent. It's the quality which matters. So he says if we take only 1 globule or 2 or 3 globules, it does not matter. It is only the potency. If it is 30 or 200 or 1 m which matters, because he says the quality matters. But to Dr. Hahnemann, even the number of globules, the size of the dose, the repetition, everything matters. So he says it should be given in proper small dose. That experience has taught as the most suitable in definite intervals. It should be at suitable and definite intervals. Friends, every word written by Dr. Hahnemann keeps a very high value. So he says it's the interval should be suitable. You should know when to repeat, after how much time. Is it after 30 minutes or 1 hour or cases, or how many days in chronic cases? In definite, follow definite intervals only, because the vital force will wait for that. For but the caution that the degree of every dose deviates somewhat from the preceding. Now, many a times we give 1 dram of any indicated medicine to our patient and say that you keep on taking from this the medicine regularly. It is Britannia 200, we say you take in the morning of in acute cases or whatsoever. But Dr. Hahnemann says the degree of from the preceding and following, in order that the vital principle which is to be altered to a similar medicinal disease be not aroused to untoward reactions. If we prescribe, for example, 0/1 in any case, the symptoms of the patient will be better after giving any medicine in 0/1. So if we give 0/1 again and again to the same patient without modifying its potentization, dynamization, then vital force will no more accept the unchanged potency of the medicine. The detail of this he has given in 247 aphorism, where Dr. Hahnemann says very clearly in 247, Dr. Hahnemann says, it is impractical to repeat the same unchanged dose of a remedy once, not to mention infrequent repetition, and at short intervals, in order not to delay the cure. If we keep on repeating the same dose once, twice, 3 times, we are delaying the cure. We are irritating our vital force. It is no more accepting the same medicine in same potency, because the susceptibility of the patient gets changed with every dose. So we have to move further. So that's what Dr. Hahnemann says here. that it should be deviate somewhat from the preceding and following in order that the vital principle which is to be altered to a similar medicinal disease be not aroused to untoward reaction and revolt as is always the case with unmodified and especially rapidly decreased doses. So Dr. Honeyman says in aphorism 246 footnote, this is the last word of Dr. Honeyman. I request every fellow colleague that give weightage to this, give attention to this paragraph, this footnote. Dr. Honeyman says, what I said in the 5th edition of the Organon, in a long note to this paragraph, in order to prevent these undesirable reactions, these undue aggravations of patients' complaints, was all that the experience I then had justified. But during the last 4 or 5 years, however, all these difficulties are wholly solved by my new altered but perfected method. Friends, this is the last advice of Dr. Honeyman. Dr. Honeyman says, what I said in the 5th edition of Organon, in a long note to this paragraph, in order to prevent these undesirable reactions of the vital energy, was all that the experience I then had justified. So we should honor Dr. Honeyman's this footnote. Dr. Honeyman draws our attention to 6th edition of Organon. Because in America, Dr. King was okay. Now in 1842, regarding 6th edition of Organon, he wrote one letter to Schwab on 20th February 42. He says, I have now, after 18 months of work, finished the 6th edition of Organon, the nearly perfect of all. And on 24th March, less time before his death, he wrote one letter to Bonnie Gershon. He says, I draw your attention to the last edition of the Organon. Will be published in near future. In the French version, at least, you will find it set. Expect. But Dr. Honeyman died at 5 a.m. only on July 2nd, 1843. Now, what are the changes Dr. Honeyman has made in 6th edition of Organon regarding this posology? In aphorism number 248, he says regarding daily and frequent repetitions of the medicines, we will discuss it in the slides further. Regarding the preparation of medicines, how to dispense the medicine to the patient, he writes in aphorism number 248 footnote, and he gives one caution also in aphorism 246, if necessary. Regarding the repetition of the medicines, he says you can give it daily or on alternate days if necessary. So it is not the mechanical kind of repetition in LM potencies. We should not repeat LM potencies in a mechanical fashion. If necessary, you can give it daily or on alternate days. Now, Dr. Bonnie Gershon says regarding LM potencies, he says in the new edition of the Organon, which will probably appear yet in the course of this year, improved and completed by Honeyman himself, a new simplified procedure for the potentizing of medicines will be taught, which has considerable advantages over the former. Friends, see this statement of Dr. Bonnie Gershon. He says, which has considerable advantages over the former and yields a preparation as to the efficacy of which I can, from my own experience, give full praise. I know this procedure, but according to my pledged words of honor, I am not as yet permitted to communicate it to anyone, because Madam Melanie D. Harley, she has taken a promise from Dr. Bonnie Gershon not to reveal this information to the public, to the homeopaths. So Dr. Bonnie Gershon also praises this regarding LM potencies, regarding this posology. In his lesser writing, in the description of medicine Aluminium Metallicum footnote page 74, you can read it. Now coming to this LM potencies, this is known as 50 millismol potencies because in this scale, the material part of the medicine is decreased by 50,000 times for each degree of dynamization. That's why it is known as 50 millismol potencies. It is written, denoted by 0 prefixed as 0 by 1, 0 by 2 and so on. And this 0 represents symbolically the poppy-sized globule. There are different methods to write it, but Dr. Hahnemann used to write in 0/1, 0/2, 0/3. But the exact word is Quinquaginta, is a word for 50, which is denoted by the letter L. Millisimal means 1000 and is denoted by M. So LM indicates 50,000, which is a wrong one. Now, terminology of LM potencies, Dr. Hahnemann says it's a medicament or globule. It's a medicine of globules, because earlier he was giving in drops. Now it comes in globules. We have to take one globule and we have to dissolve it in the water and we have to dispense it to the. Earlier he was using the whole globules. So he says it is a new dynamization method, new altered but perfected method. He says it is renewed dynamization. Pierre Schmidt gave this name 50 millisimal to this potency. Dr. Rudolf Fleury, he gave this name LM potencies. The right name is Q potencies. Q stands for Quinquaginta milia. This is the name which is given by Dr. Zost Kunzli. Now, coming to this practical part, administration of LM potencies. How to administer these LM potencies? Dr. Hahnemann has given some instructions and conditions to give LM potencies. In aphorism 246, we have read just now only that he has given 6 conditions to prescribe LM potencies. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we will go. First condition is medicine should be similimum. It should be homeopathic to the case. Number 2, it should be highly potentized with this new method. Number 3, it should be dissolved in water. Number 4, it should be given in proper small dose. Number 5, it should be suitable in definite intervals. Number 6, degree of every dose deviates somewhat from the okay. So these are the 6 conditions. After that, you have to administer the medicines. Regarding the administration of the medicines, Dr. Hahnemann has given 4 routes. One is oral route, olfactory route, and application through the rubbing of the medicine on the skin and through mother's milk. Now, coming to the oral part, oral route. Regarding this, Dr. Hahnemann says in 248 footnote, if you read this, Dr. Hahnemann says, this is very important slide, friends. You can understand how to prepare this medicinal solution before giving this bottle to the patient. So I want your close attention. He says that made in 40, 30, 20, 15 or 8 tablespoonfuls of this large range of tablespoonful of water to take to prepare this medicinal solution. So with the addition of some alcohol or a piece of charcoal in order to preserve it, if charcoal is used, it is suspended by means of a thread in the vial and is taken out when the vial is succussed. The solution of the medicinal globule, and it is rarely necessary to use more than one globule. Dr. Hahnemann says, and it is rarely necessary to use more than one globule of a thoroughly potentized medicine in a large quantity of water can be obviated by making a solution in only 7 to 8 tablespoonful of water and after thorough succussion of the vial, take from it 1 tablespoonful and put it in a glass of water containing about 7 to 8 spoonfuls and then give a dose to the patient. This is a footnote to 248. Friends, practically speaking, we have to take, Dr. Hahnemann says here 7 to 8 tablespoonful. 7 to 8 tablespoonful means 120 ml. 15 into 8 is 120 ml, 120 ml. So if you want to take this 120 ml, then you have to use a bottle of 150 ml size. In that 150 ml size, you put 120 ml of water, then put 1 globule of the indicated medicine, which should be crushed with sugar of milk, and you put this into this bottle along with some alcohol. You can put it in this as a preservative, this alcohol, and after that you have to close this bottle with this cork, and after that you have to give 10 strong succussions. This bottle, after giving 10 strong succussion, is ready for dispensing to the patient. But practically speaking, most of the homeopaths, they have come to the conclusion that instead of taking 150 ml bottle, because it is not easily available also, many stalwarts from Calcutta school, they are using 100 ml standard size bottle. Into this 100 ml of bottle, they are filling it up to 80 ml, 80 ml with this water, distilled water or purified water, RO water, and then they put few drops, maybe 15-20 drops of alcohol into this as a preservative. Then they put this one globule of the indicated medicine, which is crushed with sugar of milk. They put into this, they close this, and after that they give 10 strong succussions, and then they mark this bottle with 8 equal marks. You can see in the slide, this bottle is marked with 8 equal marks. Here you can see 8 equal marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So one mark is one dose. In 100 ml, one dose of this medicine would be 10 ml. If you strictly following this organon, then you have to 50 ml with 120 ml of water. Then you have to take 15 ml solution of this medicine, which we have prepared, into a glass, into a cup, where again there should be 7 to 8 tablespoonful of water. Roughly there should be 120 ml of water in a glass, where you have to put one dose out of it, and you have to stir it. Give only 1 teaspoonful to the patient. The rest of the water you should throw off. I will repeat it again. This is 100 ml of water, practically marked with 8 marks. We have put one globule of the indicated medicine crushed with sugar of milk into this. We put 15 to 20 drops of alcohol, and then we close it and give 10 strong succussions. After this, the medicine is prepared for dispensing, and patient now needs to take 10 ml out of it, because it is 100 ml bottle we are using. If we are using 150 ml, then you can take 15 ml out of it. So we take 10 ml out of it into 100 cc of water, 100 ml of water. We stir it thoroughly. We take only 1 teaspoonful. Make it a point. It is not tablespoon now. It is teaspoonful. We take that as a one dose. It is known as small dose. This is what Dr. Honeyman means by small dose. So even this is important for Dr. Honeyman. If we are taking 1 spoon, 2 spoon, 3 spoon, 4, 5, or whatever. So with Dr. Honeyman, it matters how much spoonful you are taking. If you study these Honeyman's records of Paris case books, which I have some opportunity to study from Stuttgart Museum in Germany, then in most of the cases, what Dr. Honeyman used to do, he used to instruct his patient to take only 1 teaspoonful in the first day. If he is getting result, then it's okay. Then otherwise he used to give instructions to the patient that next day you take 2 teaspoonful, third day 3 teaspoonful. So he used to increase the teaspoonfuls if patient is not getting result with 1 or 2 or 3 teaspoonfuls. So in other aphorism, Dr. Honeyman says we can give 1 or several teaspoonful doses according to the result from the patient side. So we can increase the number of teaspoonful doses.
Dr. Tanveer, I'm disturbing you. People are saying that they cannot hear. Maybe is your internet connection sufficient? I can
Yes,
hear you now. I can hear you, but people are complaining in the chat box that they cannot hear.
So I might, sir, request them that they should see from their own end. If you are able to hear me, then because my broadband is clear. Even Dr.
In the chat, there are regular messages they cannot hear.
So maybe, so see, sir, doctor, from my side, it is all clear because my broadband is working. I am not getting any message that my broadband getting unstable or something like that.
Okay, now maybe now many people are saying they can hear. So all those people who cannot hear, please check their local settings or your local internet, because
Yes,
I can also hear, and most of the people, they are hearing it very clearly. So please look at those who are not able to hear. Please look at your end.
Yes, please.
Sorry to disturb you. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Mutinder. Thank you. So if you want, then I can repeat it. Otherwise, we can go further slide. So now it is clear that we have to make this solution, and this is the way we have to give to the patient. Now, after taking one dose, 10 ml out of it, patient will put this 10 ml out of this bottle of 100 ml into a cup or glass of water containing 100 cc or 100 ml of water, stir it thoroughly, take 1 teaspoonful, the rest of the water he should throw off. So this is the smallest dose of LN potency. This is the highest, highly dynamized medicine, but at the same time, the dose is very, very, very small. So Dr. Hahnemann says that if patient is improving, then in chronic cases, you can repeat this dose daily or on alternate days. So this solution will go for 1 week or 15 or 16 days according to the repetition. So after this bottle is used up with, say, for example, Nux vomica, you have given 0/1, and patient is improving slowly. After finishing of this bottle, after 8 or 15 days, he comes and says, "Doctor, I feel better." Then in that case, you have to go to the next higher dynamization. Means now you will go to the
Dr. Tanvir, some people have missed some issue. They are asking to please repeat the process again.
Okay, doctor.
And they are asking that if 50 millismol potency is not available, how to make it?
How to
make it out of centesimal? Is there any method?
Okay. Yes. There is method. Yes, there is method. I will go to that. We will take all the questions. I will quickly finish it off.
Can you please repeat this method once again? Some people has missed, so people are
sure.
Repeat this procedure again.
Sure, doctor. Sure. Thank you. So now I will repeat it, friends. We take this 100 ml of bottle. We fill it up to 80 ml, 80 ml, because in that we put 1 globule of indicated medicine of 0/1, the lowest dynamization Dr. Hahnemann says to start with. Globule should be crushed with sugar of milk. Small little amount we can take and we can crush this globule into sugar of milk, and we put this into 80 ml of water which we have taken in this bottle. We mark this 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we put 15 to 20 drops of alcohol into this as a preservative. So the method is demonstrable here also. We have, if you see the slide, there is 1 bottle of globule containing 50 millismol potency medicine. Out of this, we have taken 1 globule, we put into this, crushed with water, with sugar of milk, then we put alcohol, then we have to give 10 strong succussions to the bottle like this. After this 10 strong succussions, the solution is ready for dispensing, and patient now, he will take 1 dose out of it, which should be 10 ml, and he will put this 10 ml in a glass of water containing 100 ml water in a glass. You can see in the slide also here, this is a bottle and this is a cup of water where there is 100 ml of water, and from this 100 ml of water, we have to take only 1 teaspoonful as 1 dose. So we take only 1 teaspoonful as 1 dose. This is smallest dose according to Dr. Hahnemann. And every time when patient will take the dose, he have to give succussions to the bottle. So Dr. Hahnemann says in the same aphorism that you need to give 8, 10 or 12 succussions. Then the number of succussions is not mandatory. Even he says that we can reduce it from 10 to 2 also. In other aphorism, he says we can start it with 2. The number of succussions always depending on the susceptibility of the patient. Most of the hypersensitive patients, most of the patients having nervous temperament, choleric temperament, sanguine temperament, those people who are very quick to respond, quick to act, in those cases you can minimize the number of succussions also. You can start it with 2 also. So every time patient, the only reason to give the succussion is that the further potency, the next potency should not be the same one which we have given the earlier. So every time patient will take only 10 ml out of it, he will put into a cup of water containing 100 cc of water, will take only one teaspoonful, and the rest of the water he will throw off. This is how he has to take the medicine until it gets completed. If patient is coming after 15 days or after 1 week and he says, "Doctor, I am feeling better," you have to keep on giving the same medicine which is giving him relief and as long as patient is not giving you the complaint that I have developed some new symptoms, if patient is developing with some develop some new symptoms and we need to prescribe a different medicine, the next medicine should also be prepared in the same manner. It should also be started from the lowest dynamization, and we can change the medicine at any time. So this is how we can keep on giving the medicine. And when there is a cure is almost arrived or about to arrive, at that time patient will start feeling the reappearance of the original symptoms, but in a very milder way. This is sometimes we can see, not very often. If we keep on repeating the dose continuously for longer time, then at the end of the cure or just when the cure is at verge, at that time the patient will start feeling the relapse or the reappearance of the first symptoms when he comes for the first time to us. At that time it indicates that we should not repeat the dose further now, because the cure has almost established. But at that time what we shall do, we should not repeat any dose. We can give only placebo for 15 days or 10 days. If during that period of time patient comes up with any kind of symptoms, if there is any symptoms are remaining, then we can give the same medicine but at longer intervals. If he says after 15 days that I am not having any complaint, then it is understood that cure has established now. So we can keep on giving this medicine, and this aggravation of the old symptoms which a patient experiences at the end of the cure is known as homeopathic aggravation, which in this case we find at the end of the treatment, not in the beginning as what we find in centesimal potencies. This is the difference. In centesimal scale, when we prescribe, we get it in the beginning only. Yes, of course. In LM potencies also, we can find this aggravation in the beginning if the dose is quite larger one. If we give the large dose, if we ask the patient to take the whole cup of water, in certain patients who are hypersensitive, in that case, you can get the same kind of aggravation, which will not be that aggressive, which we see in centesimal potencies. In this case, when the patient finds aggravation, homeopathic aggravation in the beginning of the treatment with LM potencies, it indicates that the dose was quite larger one. In that case, we can minimize the dose, we can reduce the dose. Number one. Number two, even in hypersensitive patients, sometimes it happens that patient says, doctor, I am feeling little aggravation from your medicine. In that case, Dr. Honeyman says, you can use second, third cup, fourth cup, and you can increase the number of cups. What is that method is? In hypersensitive type of patients, which are very, very difficult to cure, especially with the centesimal potencies, in LM scale, we can control this aggravation to the larger extent very beautifully, very, very surely. How? For example, here, when the patient is preparing his dose in 100 cc of water, he takes 10 ml out of it and puts in a glass of water containing 100 ml of water. He stirs it and he takes 1 teaspoonful. But in hypersensitive patients, we should not allow him to take this 1 teaspoonful from this cup. Rather, we can advise the patient to take second cup also, which should also contain 100 cc of water. And from the first cup, we take 1 teaspoonful, we put in the second cup of water, wherefrom we stir it and we take only one dose, one teaspoonful. This is the second cup we are using now. If patient is comfortable with that second cup, it's okay. Otherwise, you can add third cup, fourth cup, fifth cup. I remember one of my case of hepatocellular carcinoma when I was treating that patient was getting some aggravation with the medicines, and I was able to minimize this aggravation by using 13th cup. So we can beautifully control the aggravation with this methodology. Everything is in our control. We can immediately control this by diluting this method. So this is the way we can prescribe this medicine. Now, it is the oral method I have described. The same thing we can give in the olfactory route also. Olfactory route means we have to take again 1 globule of the indicated medicine. Now in olfactory route, we need to take 1 gram of the bottle as it is there in my hand. 1 gram of bottle, we have to fill it with dilute alcohol up to 3/4 of this bottle size. We put 1 globule Into this, then we put 1 drop of water to dissolve the globule. Then we put alcohol into this. 3/4 we can fill this with dilute alcohol. We hold this bottle in our fist and we give 10 succussions to this bottle. After giving 10 succussions, this bottle is ready to use, and we can use this method by keeping this vial near to the nostril of the patient and asking the patient to take 1 breath. After taking 1 breath, 1 dose we have given to the patient. If we want to give a stronger dose, we can use the second nostril also. We can use the second nostril. So number of breath also makes a difference regarding this strengthening of the dose. If we give only 1 breath, it would be a milder dose. If we give second breath, then it would be a little stronger dose. So we can use this method in those cases where orally we cannot give the medicine. When patient is unable to take medicine orally, we can use this method in olfactory method. We can use it, and this method is also very useful in those cases which are hypersensitive kind of patient. Dr. Honeyman says regarding this in the same aphorism. He says, if only a small vial, say a dram of dilute alcohol, is used in the treatment in which is contained and dissolved through succussion 1 globule of the medicine, which is to be used by olfaction every 2, 3, or 4 days, this also must be thoroughly succussed 8 to 10 times before each olfaction. Now, through the skin, we can use this method if we this application of the medicine through the rubbing on the skin. We can read it from 285 aphorism. Dr. Honeyman says this is very additional point we can find it, because this aphorism is totally rewritten. It is not in the 5th edition of Organon. Dr. Honeyman has written in this, and he says, in this way, the cure of very old diseases may be furthered by the physician applying externally, rubbing it in the back, arms, extremities, the same medicines he gives internally and which showed itself curativity. In doing so, he must avoid parts subject to pain or spasm or skin eruptions. So friends, if you are dealing with some obstinate kind of old disease which is not responding your internally given medicine, orally given medicine, and in that case, along with the 1 teaspoonful you are using to give the patient orally, the rest of the solution you can use to rub the skin of the patient. But mind it, we should not rub the medicine on the areas which are having pain or spasm of skin eruptions. It is totally opposite to allopathic concept. They are applying external medicines on the area which are subject to pain or spasm or where there are skin eruptions. But Honeyman says, mind it, you should avoid those areas. So the rest of the body skin, you can use it. I have used this method in some of my cases, and to the satisfaction of my level, it is very, very important and very useful also. I have seen very better results when I give oral medicine and at the same time when we apply it on the skin. So it is very, very important. I have seen it personally also. And the 4th method is application of medicine through the mother's milk. It is very simple, and we know that in those new world citizens, those infants who are newly born, if we take a case and we prescribe this medicine, we can give this medicine to the lactating mother, to the mother who is nursing the baby. You can give that, which is giving the milk to the baby. Through the milk, we can give the medicine effectively to the baby. I have used this method very rarely, not very frequently, and I have seen the results also very, very important one. So now there are many questions then that if we prescribe this LM potencies, when to stop giving medicines, when to stop giving medicine, how long we can keep on repeating the dose, how long we can go with the medicine repetition. So there are 3 points that we should stop the medicine. Number 1 point is medicinal aggravation. Whenever there is any medicinal aggravation means if our medicine is wrong one, if our medicine is not homeopathic to the case, in that case we find the medicinal symptoms which are aggravating patients' complaints. In that case, we should stop the medicine and we should select the new medicines. If the aggravation is very aggressive one, that is not expected with LM potencies, but in hypersensitive patient, if it is not bearable, then we can antidote this aggravation. Otherwise, it is rarely necessary to antidote any medicine in LM scale. So we can stop this medicine. Number 3 point I will discuss, the progressive and strikingly increasing ameliorate. We have discussed earlier that whenever we find after giving even 1, 2, 3 dose, if patient says, doctor, I am feeling much better, it's a miraculous kind of result I have got, then request your patient not to take further dosages. The second point, homeopathic aggravation, we have discussed earlier that this aggravation patient always experience when the cure is almost established or a patient is at the verge of cure. At that time, patient will find the reappearance of his original symptoms when he comes for the first time to our clinic. Then those symptoms he will experience, but in a very mild degree, not very aggressive way. So in that case, you should stop this medicine. You send the patient with only placebo for 15 days or so, and we have to wait and watch. If patient comes with some of the remnants of the symptoms, some of the convalescent symptoms are again there, then we can give few doses of LM scale at longer interval of medicine repetition. Otherwise, if patient comes with very satisfactory mode that he is free from the symptoms, then you can stop the medicine. So now we will go to 1 or 2, 3 cases, sir. Then we will go to the questions. I will share with you one beautiful case of where I have prescribed this medicine in a small baby. There, okay, we will find 2, 3 cases we can take, right? One case, this is a small baby's case of 8 months old, which was brought to me on 24th June 2011 for a hard growth in the right submandibular area, which had appeared last week. It was painful to touch. Before bringing to me, this baby was taken to one pediatrician and who advised her parents to get her FNAC done to rule out any malignancy, but her grandfather, one of my close friends, brought her to me. This was the area where the patient has some hard growth on the side of his neck, and past history, she had measles last month. During fever of measles, she used to turn her head on either side. That time, this hard growth was noticed for the first time. There was a strong history of tuberculosis and cancer in the family. Mentally, patient was very obstinate baby who keeps on forcing her parents by crying to take her out of house where she is happy. Before this growth, patient was very cheerful and she used to put everything in the mouth. Patient was just feeling discomfortable in hot weather. I prescribed medicine 0/1, Calcarea carbonica 0/1, 8 dosages, daily 1 dose with 5 succussions. See, friends, I have given only 5 succussions, not 10 succussions, because according to the susceptibility, according to the, we can give it. And after this prescription, on the 8th day of this prescription, this growth burst open. And after 1 week, I gave Calcarea 0/2 on alternate days with 5 succussions. You can see this growth which was there. This is the consequently taken photographs, and after 8 days, this was the result. After 8th day, you can see the time span only after this. This was all clear. Now this is a case of generalized seizure. It's a baby of small age of 10 months. Case was taken in 28 February 2009. The chief complaint was baby was born with C-section and he is sleepless since after birth. He sleeps only for 10 to 15 minutes or 30 minutes at the most and then wakes up. But if someone carries him in the lap, then he can sleep for 1 to 2 hours in 24 hours. He wakes with slight noise as from beginning of the banging of the door, calls, etc. He does not respond to routine sedatives. His eyes remain little open during sleep. At the age of 8th month, he got first fit and he became unconscious for half an hour with foam in the mouth and his baby became stiff. Anyhow, these attacks of the fits used to recur after 7 to 8 days, especially when the child used to get angry. So patient was taken to some neurologist, but after taking this treatment, the frequency of the fits increased from once in about 7 to 8 days to 2 to 3 fits a day. So this frequency increased. By the time the baby was brought to me, he has taken a lot of allopathic medicines, and on EEG, I found that It is a mild degree bihemispherical discharge dysarrhythmia and it's a record of generalized seizures. Now, physical symptoms were not available to this from this patient. General examination, there were cervical glands enlarged on the both sides. Mental symptoms were little there. The baby was very angry and obstinate. He cannot find rest anywhere, always wants to go somewhere here and there. He was very restless. If his will is not fulfilled, he becomes very angry and then cries also. And if he starts crying, then it is difficult to stop him crying, which continues for 15 to 20 minutes. If during suckling mother slightly moves, he will not suck the milk after that. What else information was required? Of course, intrauterine history of the baby was taken. And I found that during this pregnancy, the mother of the patient, she remained sick due to various complaints. And once she got frightened by thunderstorm, when the movements of the baby stopped for a while, she is very sensitive to trifles also. So it was functional disorder. SORA was the miasm. These were the rubrics which I have taken for repertorization, ailments from fright, desire to be carried, contradiction, child, wandering desire for, sleeplessness in children, convulsions after anger in infants. Concomitant was sleeplessness with the convulsions, and medicines was allopathic use of. After that, I repertorized the case. Nux vomica came up as an indicated medicine. In this case, I prescribed friends Nux vomica in olfaction. This is why I have taken this case. It was a small baby, 0/1 was started in olfaction, TDS for 10 days. Here the medicine was given TDS. The frequency was more. In this case, the follow-up after 15 days, very slight change in his sleep, no fit in these days. So after giving Nux vomica 0/1, daily there were 2-3 fits per day. But after starting this Nux vomica, there was not even a single fit, I mean. Again, there was no fit in these days. Patient was better, and I started from 0/1 and I kept on increasing the medicine from 0/2, 3, 4. And after 5 months, mother of the baby told me that baby got a fit about 10 days back, which was for about 2 to 3 minutes. It could be due to the reason that I took him in one marriage party where he got frightened and got this mild attack. Now, mother told that patient got fever yesterday. The head was hot with cold extremities. He was restless during fever and wanted to be carried and also to take him from here to there. Thirst was reduced. Mother said he does not perspire except from the scalp. So these were the symptoms I again took into consideration. Again, the ailments were from fright, desire for carrying, restless during heat, desire for wandering, heat of the head with coldness of the extremities, sweat only on the head, thirstless during heat. The medicine were belladonna and calcarea carb, but desire to be carried is only were belladonna. So I prescribed 0/1 belladonna every 3 hourly. Now fever got disappeared from the very next day of the using of this medicine. There was no fit in these days. Sleep was good. This time no enlargement of cervical glands. Now belladonna 0/2 was kept on once in a day. Earlier it was 3 hourly. Now again there was no complaint. Belladonna 0/3 were given on alternate days. See friends, as long as patient is improving, I am increasing the gap between the repetition of my medicine. Now on 6th of January, patient says, mother says the sleep of the patient was little decreasing again. So it was the original symptom. This was the symptom when patient was brought to me. Earlier he was also sleepless. It means now we have to decide what to do now. What should be the action? Belladonna was stopped for this patient for some days and asked the patient to come after 15 days. The sleep got normal by itself and he has no other complaints also. Patient was totally free from the symptoms. He was cured. So to wind up the case, calcarea carbonica 201 dose was given to this case and patient was until today, the family is in my touch. They are very close to me. Patient is totally fine. So it was the case of this baby. Dr. Muktinder Singh ji. Dr. Muktinder ji. Okay. Okay. May I take 5 minutes more?
Yes, better if we want to take questions, then we are running out of time because it's already 6.
Okay.
So
Okay.
better we take questions now.
Okay, we take questions, no problem. Then we can go with the questions. If you find
Yes.
we can take
The first
or-
question Dr. Rajesh Sofat sir asked is how to make 50 millismol potency out of centimol potency 200 or.
Okay, Dr. Sofa, there is one aphorism 270. If you read from 6th edition of Organon, we have to make that from this. We need to prepare first of all 3C up to 3C. We have to prepare in centesimal scale. From there, you can read the whole process in the Organon of medicine. But better to ask to the pharmaceutical companies, because nowadays, if you prepare it, there is a very cumbersome method because it's not that easy. We find that. We can order to this Schwabe India, and there are many companies we can get it from them. But if at all, if you want to read it, you can read from 270 aphorism. The whole detail is given in that section. Sir.
Can you explain some method that how to have you ever made it or how to what is written in that?
Okay. You want to know this whole methodology?
In short.
In short, okay. First of all, you have to prepare. See, in centesimal potencies, you need to prepare. For example, you want to prepare Nux vomica or say Silicia or Calcarea carb. You have to take 1 part of Calcarea carb and 100 part of this one sugar of milk. You have to crush it with this. Earlier, Dr. Hahnemann was taking 1:99, but in this case, he was taking 1:100 scale. After coming to this 3C, from 3C, he used to take 1 part of this 3C and 500 part of the solution, where from 100 part would be of alcohol and 400 part of water. He has to mix it, and you have to give the 100 succussions to this solution. After getting 3C of Calcarea carbonica, you have to take 1 part of 3C and 500 part of the solution, which is a combination of 1:4. 100 part of alcohol and 400 is water, and we have to give succussions 100 times. After giving 100 succussions, you have to wet these globules with this solution, and after wetting those globules, you have to pour it on the paper where we can absorb this solution also. After getting that dry, we have to fill it in the bottle. Then you can label it as 0/1.
Fine. Thank you. And, people are asking that are the nosodes to be given in LM potency the same way?
In nosodes, it is the instructions, because there is one Dr. Hani Mohan Chaudhary who was using the LM scales in every case. Exceptionally LM potencies he was using, and in that case he was using nosodes also. If you are giving nosode as a constitutional medicine, for example, if the patient is carcinosinum and by constitution you are giving him constitutional medicine, then you can use, of course, in the same way. But if you are giving it as an intercurrent medicine, you can use the higher potencies like carcinosinum 7, 0/7, 0/10 or higher potencies as one of single dose.
So thank you, Dr. Tanveer. We'll take some more questions, but I would like to invite now our chairman of the day. Sir, kindly come in front. Please unmute yourself so that you please your valuable comments. So I would like to tell all that Dr. Prabhakar Devgida is from Mumbai College, and he's a very senior faculty, and we are pleased and we are privileged to have you, sir, with us. Kindly chair the session, and then we'll take some more questions if time permitted.
Yes, please.
Your call, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. And thank you, Dr. Muktinder Singh ji, Dr. Tanveer Hussain, for a very good lecture. We should also thank people on Sunday evening listening. Now it has become a norm, but still, and listening to your topic, which is very important. Dr. Tanveer Hussain has really detailed the preparation and even the history of potencies. Now that is actually a very confusing thing. This posology has always been a confusing thing for. Can you all hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, sir. Yes,
It has always been a confusing thing. So with the inputs from owning oceans and everything. But unfortunately, what exactly happened was the publication between the fifth and the sixth edition was a very long drawn process. And that is one of the reasons why the world has been divided into two people, like one who are using 50 millisimal and one who are using centesimal scale. Our own pedigree in CMP Homeopathic Medical College from Mumbai, most of our teachers during my time, I'm talking about 35, 38 years ago, the teachers were students from Kolkata. The teacher who studied there under Dr. B.K. Bose, who was a direct student of Dr. Kent. Being a direct student of Dr. Kent, the use of 50 millisimal potency was not there from that genealogy. And therefore, when we were students, we never saw the use of 50 millisimal potency. When asked in the classroom, we were told that the sixth edition is not very sure that it has been published by Dr. Hanneman or not, and therefore we are not using it. We were also told that ऐसा कलकत्ता में होता है. Then one day, Dr. L.M. Khan sir came to our college, and I'm talking about 1985. So I asked him, sir, आप लोग sixth edition, you do not use sixth edition. He was very furious. He said, those who are telling like that are not even stepped out of the Kolkata station, it seemed, because we are using 50 millisimal potencies and we are using the sixth edition. But this difference definitely will be there. Second is, as people have talked about, it is not available. Now the availability of 50 millisimal potency has increased because with the increased use, it is like a egg or a chicken situation. When it was not available, people would not use. Because it was not used, it was not available. The moment people have started using it, the things have become easier, and we have also started using. No, I would be thankful to Dr. Pochar sir, who was our principal, and then he said, "Let us use this 50 millisimal potency." So initially, the nurses in our hospital and the students also felt कि ये one globule इतने liquid में and then again put it in one. So यहाँ तो हम पानी दे रहे हैं, यहाँ तो patient को कुछ, we are not giving anything to the patient, and therefore sisters would come and ask me nicely in the ear, really doctor, we want to give this way, will it affect? The effect was very beautifully seen. One patient who had tuberculosis, and Dr. Kochar had told that do not give more than 1 teaspoonful. If you remember Dr. Tanvir's lecture, if you recollect, he said the initial dose should be single teaspoonful, and then we have to increase the dosages, as was the patient response, and exactly what. But being youthful, wanting to experiment, 4 teaspoonful de do, kuch nahi hoga, and immediately the patient started having hemoptysis. So we can actually see the aggravation if you are giving more than the required dosages. What appears to be like nothing but liquid, nothing but water, actually has that effect. So 50 millisimal, when I started using, it was difficult to get. Now we have started using it much more often, and the results are definitely there to see. I will I can share one small example of when a mother came and they told that our children are never surviving. This is my fifth child and it is not surviving. The doctor has said that the child has got hydrocephalus. We gave this child Heliborus, not much history was there, hydrocephalus 0/1. And the response is that when the child was delivered, there is no hydrocephalus. The serial MRI showing that the hydrocephalus is resolving. Even the question that it could have been a choroid plexus tumor could have been there, but which when the child was born was not there. So the results are definitely encouraging. I would definitely congratulate Dr. Tanvir Hussain for really telling it in a nice way. And I think all the students must have learned it thoroughly. So the stalwarts, when people ask why the stalwarts are not using 50 millisimal, one of the reason is I think the genealogy where we have studied from, the seniors have studied from the teachers who have not been using 50 millisimal. Not that they do not have faith, but that's how. And secondly is the unavailability. Here I would like to mention one more interesting point. Dr. Tanvir Hussain also, you can know, very interesting. I just wanted to see what was written in 270 aphorism in the 5th edition. It has been replaced with something new. And it will be very interesting to understand why Hanneman was known as the experimenter is very interesting here. It is written very clearly. He says, the 2 drops of fresh vegetable juice mingled with equal parts of alcohol, diluted with 98 drops of alcohol and potentized by means of only 2 succussions. 2 succussions. More interesting is he talks about that how the potencies increase. He said a person who discovered a grain of soda in half an ounce of water, and he was traveling. The moment he traveled, he says the effect of that was more than 30th potency. See the fineness and observation of Dr. Hahnemann. So this person, if he was alive further, the 7th and 8th edition would have been much more evolved. Anyway, so there are two lessons to be learned from this, that we should be observing what happens when we are giving the medication, number one. Second, that we do not get stuck to any dogmatism or pragmatism as that's what he has written, because Hahnemann was the one who was experimenter and the experimentation should continue. The last thing which I would want to add is that we have made it easier in our college and clinic to give the medicine to patients very easily, that we now get this 200 ml. I'm not advertising anyone, but 200 ml of water, distilled water is available easily. During our time, distilled water was not so easily available. Now it is available, or mineral water is available in Bisleri or other companies in 200 ml. That becomes very easy method for to give, and patient can carry it easily. I think apart from that, we should keep this session open for the question answer rather than me speaking much on this topic. So any other question to be asked or to be answered? I think Dr. Tanvir Hussain is there and I can back up if required. Please.
Dr. Tanvir, I think you can read the questions in chat and see which question you want to answer first. There are many questions in chat.
You choose anyone, sir. You choose anyone.
We can take one question right now, and then because time is already running short, so that's why I'm giving you a choice to answer the question.
So
thank you, sir. By the way, sir, thank you for sharing the your inputs were really valuable. Yes.
Yeah. Before are you winding the session, I want to put one or two, three important points over here. As very rightly Dr. Prabhakar sir has said that many people, they do not use, the stalwarts are not using LM potencies. Why? Because see, most of our students, most of we people also, even in our colleges, sir, we are given this 5th edition of Organon as the basic edition to study in the examination point of view also, and other ways also. Even most of our people, including Dr. Kent, those stalwarts to whom we are reading as a stalwarts in the literature, then none of them have seen 6th edition of Organon.
Absolutely.
Because 6th edition of Organon is published in 1921 in Germany and 1922 in America by Boric. But Dr. Kent dies in 1916. Not only Dr. Kent, even Dr. Nash, Dr. Lippe, Dr. Bonegash, every stalwart whose literature nowadays, they are unaware of this 6th edition of Organon. And Dr. Kent was holding the flag of homeopathy in America so high that his teachings, his philosophy was unquestionable. Even nowadays, most of the world homeopaths, they are under impression of Dr. Kent's philosophy. Had Dr. Kent has seen this 6th edition of Organon, most of our philosophical part would have been totally different. Most of the observations, if time permits in some next time, then we can compare the difference between centesimal and LM potencies, whereby we can see that the 12 observations of Dr. Kent are many times changed if we see with the LM potency, if we see with centesimal potencies. So there are many things which are there to be discussed. And as far as this LM scale is concerned, this is the last advice of our Samuel Hahnemann, of our master, that master who has taken almost more than 50 years to reach to this conclusion. If you see his whole life here, he was struggling hard to minimize this patient's complaints, to minimize this aggravation. So we should honor Dr. Hahnemann for this wonderful gift he has given to us. This is the only potency which is a need of the time in most of the cases where we are living in this area. Many of the antidotes are around us. The lifestyle of the patient is so disturbed one, where there are chances of getting our medicines antidote if we are using centesimal potencies. And if we are dealing with pathological cases, then definitely LM potencies are of high and utmost value. I thank you one and all. I thank Dr. Muktinder Singh, Dr. Prabhakar sir, our CEC body national president sir, and VK Gupta sir, all the audience, and who has given this valuable quality and quantitative time to listen all this session. And I also thank my gurus, Dr. LM Khan sir, because this olfaction method and this Organon I have learned from Dr. LM Khan, and earlier learned from Dr. Ramalal Patel sir. I bow my head to these two gurus who has taught me this LLM potencies and this Dr. Alim Khan sir and all my fellow colleagues. Thank you very much for your valuable time. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much. Over to Dr. Muktinder Singh ji now.
Thank you, Dr. Tanveer Hussain ji, and it was really a very good presentation indeed. Now I invite Dr. Sudhanshu Arya sir to extend the vote of thanks for today's session to all the participants. Dr. Sudhanshu Arya is our webmaster and he is handling all the IAHP digital matters. So sir, you are welcome. Please extend vote of the thanks to the speaker and the chairman and all the participants on behalf of CEC.
Honorable Chairman of the webinar, respected Professor, learned speaker Professor Tanveer Hussain, host Professor Muktinder Singh ji, IHP CEC and other members, webinar participants. It is my pleasure, privilege and honor to have been asked to present a vote of thanks on the occasion of this first webinar under Learners League program of IHP. I, Dr. Sudhanshu Arya, Webmaster IHP website and President IHP UP, on behalf of IHP CEC, IHP Webinar Committee and IHP National Mission, extend a very hearty note of thanks to the chairman, the speaker, the host, and all the participants for sharing this evening with us. An event like this takes a lot of teamwork and an experienced team at that. I must thank our President of Honor, Padma Shri Dr. B.K. Gupta ji, and our National President, Dr. M.A. Rao sir, along with the National Secretary General, Professor Ravinder Kochar ji, and National Finance Secretary, Professor G. Srivanaslu ji, for formulating this webinar program. And I must thank CEC members for supporting this venture wholeheartedly. To remain in touch with more such webinars, I request you to kindly bookmark the IHP website and subscribe and like the IHP YouTube channel so that you do not miss any future programs. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to state that we are most grateful to all for being with us this evening. It has been a great pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I'm going to display now one of the slide because many doctors, they wanted this certificates, e-certificates for this webinar. So you can note down this email ID and you send a mail with your name to be printed on certificate. All those students who are interested for getting a certificate should send an email to this email ID iihp.national@gmail.com and with the clear-cut name you want to be printed on the certificates. So they will be posted very soon to your, and this recording will be available on the internet very soon. Thank you one and all, and I have a very disheartening news to share with you that it's very sorry to inform you all that our most beloved Dr. S.T. Hassan, past National Secretary General of IAHP, has left for his heavenly hope today evening. So IAHP has lost one of its most dynamic and dedicated leader. We pray Almighty God to rest his soul in peace. So we all should pray, for he was a really, despite very senior, but he used to reach all the IAHP congresses and lead from front. So it is really a irreparable loss to IAHP fraternity. So we extend our heartfelt condolence on behalf of CEC committee and all of us. We pray that may God bless his soul and his soul rest in peace. So thank you one and all for being with us. So we are quite punctual. Thank you, Dr. Tanveer. Thank you, Dr. Prabhakar Devigada sir. Thank you, Sudhanshu Arya sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, Dr. Sudhanshu ji. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Prabhakar sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for such a nice webinar. Um,